Cup of Joe time. We welcome in our own Joe Maddon. Joe, Brian Kenny here. Good to see you again.
You also, BK, buddy.
All right, we went into Gerrit Cole, the intentional walk of Devers in the fourth, all your baseball experience. Just give us your wide view. What did you make of that?
Well, I didn't quite understand it. I mean, there's times, even if they had spoken about that before the game, walking him in a critical moment, this one just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And furthermore, I didn't even know that a position player, a pitcher, can walk a guy like that. I thought it had to come from the dugout. So that part was incongruent to me. I read something today where Booney backed up a little bit, tried to explain it more in more detail. But for Cole just to go out there and put up four fingers, made no sense. I didn't like it.
So did you ever let your pitcher make that call?
No, I did not. I mean, I would discuss with the pitching coach or in a pregame meeting, pre-series meeting, we would talk about who do you not want to beat us? Like a couple years ago, I walked Corey Seager with the bases loaded in Texas, and everybody was really appalled by that. But he was the guy we talked about not permitting to beat us. Josh Hamilton, can't remember what year that was, but I walked him with the bases loaded. We eventually got out of that with a strikeout by Danny Wheeler. So you talk about it, but you're looking for a critical moment. You're not looking for an innocuous moment like that. And it really made no sense. But yes, those are part of the discussion before a series. Yes.
Dodger news now. Tyler Glasnow is out for the year. Dave Roberts is leaving the door open for Shohei Ohtani to pitch in the postseason. He just got on the mound for the first time ever this Saturday, threw 10 pitches. So that's one thing. The other thing, here's some of those pitches. Also, Joe, if he's the DH and they want to use him in relief, because now you can't take the bat out of the lineup. When you were using him, it seemed like, or actually, I think it was Mike Scioscia, he would, on the days he pitched, he wouldn't hit. And it seemed like, okay, that can make a little bit of sense. If he's the DH, how does he come in out of the bullpen without eventually losing him?
Well, that's what I don't know, because I was asking that question earlier, because I would, he would start as a pitcher in like a National League lineup. I would take him out of the game. I'd put him in right field, and then the pitcher coming into the game would have to become the DH. So now he is the DH. You could put the DH in a game. That's true. I mean, say it's the seventh inning, you want to bring him in for 2-3 innings of relief. You can't do that, and now he takes a spot in the lineup. He's the pitcher, so you lose your DH. In other words, then if you want to take him out of the game, I think he's just done at that point. Yeah. And you can't have him hit again. So having said all that, if they're going to bring him into the game, and he has been DHing, it really makes sense possibly that what they would do is latter part of the game, kind of a long relief kind of a guy. You're looking at 2 or 3 innings out of him, and you're counting on him to be into the game 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and you may lose him in the 10th or 11th, which is no good. But they're going to have to plan that out more specifically if they're going to do that. And which, like I said, speaks to long relief later in the game, because you're not going to use him earlier unless you're going to start him, and that's another bag of tricks also. So it's
Would you do it, Joe?
Kind of a game.
Let's say he said, "Babe, I don't feel any twinge. I can give you X amount of pitches." Would you do it?
Yeah, I would. With him, I would. And like I said, it would be in the latter part of the game. He'd put him out there even to close the game possibly. But then again, that would have to be based on everything I'm seeing, that he's well, he's healthy, he feels good, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I'd do that. You're looking at their roster. I know they have a better bullpen than they have a starting rotation right now, but Shohei, yes, I would do it.
Yeah, they're beleaguered at this point. And Joe, one other thing here. I don't know where you are on home run trots. I know you're kind of loose and groovy on most of these things. But we had a beaut yesterday. Randy Arozarena. Now, he didn't taunt like he was looking at his own dugout about, man, look, he's just getting out of there now. Just get out of the box now after like that long shot of the ball going into the stands. Took a long time getting away from the plate. Jonah Heim of the Rangers had words after he crossed the plate about 7.5 minutes later, and then they plunked him next time up. All right, so if you're managing either side, give us your view.
But yeah, that's listen, we're promoting all this stuff. It's their own fault. We're saying that all these excessive celebrations are cool, bat flips are cool. All of a sudden, it's become in vogue and part of the landscape where we're just having a whole lot of fun until that happens. Listen, if he did that to my group, yeah, we probably would end up doing exactly what they did. You're going to go after him that next at-bat. I see nothing wrong with that. That's excessive. I don't want my kids watching a game like that and that kind of a celebration. Just do it with some class, do it with some dignity. You can be happy. You can celebrate the trident in the dugout afterwards. That's getting out of hand, too. Let's just play the game. Just tone it down a little bit. I don't blame them for what they did. I really don't.
Yeah, I get it too. It seemed like it's always the line between joy and taunting, right? And it seems like at a certain point, especially if the kid, Jonah Heim is there. Look, Adolis Garcia was on his own club. He takes his time. But if you have a guy that just is lingering there and doing a celebration, some sort of impromptu celebration, I understand that at that point, right? And it is. After a while, it does become a bit of a mess. You know,
I used to think it's a bore.
Yeah, I used to think that don't regulate the NFL celebrations because, let the guys do what they're going to do and it'll be fine. And you saw quickly, no, actually, you can't do that. It gets out of control.
If that's a walk-off home run, go ahead. Go ahead and do cartwheels around the bases. Be Jimmy Pearson, run around the bases backwards. I don't care. But when it's in the middle of the game like that, you're opening yourself up and your other teammates up to exactly what did happen. It's getting out of hand. You have to reel it back in at some point. It's being done for all the wrong reasons. To say that we're trying to attract young kids and players to the game of Major League Baseball by permitting excessively boorish behavior, I don't agree with that. Don't.
Good points, Joe. Yeah. Good to have you back on.
See you, buddy, man.
I got you.
You will.
Take care.
See you, Joe.